If you wish to be a writer, write. This was written by Epictetus way back in the day. I don't know exactly. Some Greek guy. He's a very Greek guy, and Stoic and all that shit. So it's pretty simple. It's a pretty simple quote, but it caught my attention and I wanted to make a video about it. Because for years I wanted to do all these things and I was convinced I could do all these things and I just never did. I just rather stay lazy and eat junk food and watch series and I smoke weed or do drugs and go party. And I had this idea in my mind that I knew I could achieve things in life. But you only really know that the moment you start achieving. Like, everyone has all the potential in their life, yet, I don't know, 50 or 60 or maybe even 70% of the population today will die sad and depressed because they have no idea how to deal with themselves, and they have been sad and depressed for most of their lives. They haven't really began their self-actualization process, which just means becoming the best version of yourself. So that's a super simple quote. I think he's the same guy who said common sense is not so common. It's a different Stoic guy. I'm not sure if it's the same guy, but this seems normal. This seems to be common knowledge. You know, if you want to write, write. Yet why does no one do it? I think it's Krishnamurti who said, why is man so consumed by pleasure? I don't remember what his answer was. My answer is pretty simple, because people lack patience, they lack confidence in themselves because of generational trauma, because the whole world seems to be fucked if you look at the news every day. So stop that right now. Literally just cut it out of your life. Stop looking at the news, because that shit is shit. That shit is shit and it will drown you, you know. You should flush that shit down the toilet, man. Just take your newspaper, stick it in the toilet and just flush that shit down. It's not good for you. It really isn't. Because the news only tells you about the bad things happening, you know. And good things for the news are like new ministers have been elected or a new president. That's even worse, actually. That's awful shit. That's awful, man. All this politic bullshit. I'm not against politics. I mean, I'm totally against them, but I'm not like, it's good to know some things, I guess. I just don't care whether I do or not. If people tell me, it's okay. If people don't tell me, it's also fine. So what I've been doing is very simple. I just started to do whatever I always wanted to do. And this begins with one day. Just one day. You have to wake up and tell yourself, today I will actually achieve something and I will actually do what I've been wanting to do my whole life. You know, and it's not like you've never done this. Like, I used to draw and write music, but the day that I decided, like, this is my passion, or rather, I'm gonna make this my passion. Because it's easy to think, oh, I don't have a passion, everyone else is blessed, I don't have a passion, oh, I'm just gonna be a loser and just sit here all day and just eat junk food and jack off. That's very, very easy to think. That's what I thought. That's what a lot of people think these days, you know. But it's very simple. You just have to do it. You just have to do it. Nothing I say in this video, I will not say anything you don't already know deep down. It just might be that extra push you need. You know, so fucking do it, man. Fucking do it. I'm not fucking kidding here. You really have to fucking make work of this shit. Your life will become beautiful. Like me uploading these videos, I have barely any views. Think I care? I'm doing this for myself. I'm doing this to put out knowledge that I have gained, to share it with the world, with you. If anyone becomes happy from hearing this weird lunatic talk in his room, great, you know. I don't want to be famous with YouTube. I don't think it's gonna happen because I'm not interested in it. I'm just interested in sharing shit, and if it helps, great. So if you like writing, just write. If you like this, just do that, just do that, just do that, just do that. And if you can't, it's probably because you're addicted to pleasure. So some people say you should first deal with the pleasure. Others should say you should first focus on starting to write or starting a hobby and committing to it. I'd say it's both, although personally for me it has helped tremendously much more to first cut out everything: masturbation, pornography, coffee, all everything that has the littlest, slightest dopamine hit or can, fuck you up addictively. Just cut it out. Learn to cut it out, but at the same time also start doing something else, because you need something else in life. You need something else. If you drink alcohol every night and that's your go-to, now I just stop drinking alcohol. But if you usually just watch a series, now if you're gonna watch a series without alcohol, trust me, you're gonna want to drink alcohol again because your mind is conditioned like that. Like, even if you get rid of the conditioning of the mind, I can still watch a series, and still, if I watch too much of it and I don't feel good, I will still want to eat junk food. It's just the mind always craving to be happy. So either you strive for happiness by going through suffering, or you take the instant gratification and then you suffer way more than you ever would. And the beautiful thing is, if you suffer because of instant gratification, it's the worst, because you know it's your own fault, you know you shouldn't have done it, you're beating yourself up. Don't beat yourself up, that doesn't help. But just know that you've been stupid and you can change and you should change. But if you work for something, you work towards something, that is hard, but that is beauty. There's beauty in that hardness, in that, diamonds form under pressure, that's famous saying. All the while, you're working towards something, and that's beautiful. And then again, don't think that whenever you've achieved that something, that's lasting happiness. The mind always wants a place of lasting happiness. There is no lasting happiness in anything. Happiness can only exist because we live in this, everything is duality, with night, day, warm, hot, warm, cold. Everything is duality. Happiness is the same. Happiness needs to be balanced with unhappiness. Sadness needs to be balanced with smiling a lot. All of these things, man, they just need to happen. And the trick or the goal of discipline, or if you want to write, is to ignore these emotions. Don't suppress them. You suppress them when you eat junk food or when you pretend they're not there. But you can actually use that as fuel. If you're angry or if you're sad, you can put these emotions onto your paper. And, with the example of writing, that is, you can do so much. I write texts, lyrics, I make rap. I also make paintings. Um, I make paintings. I do a lot of things. Sometimes even just talking to a human being can actually be something a lot of people don't even do anymore. We have these devices, right? These telephones that can connect us with the whole fucking world. And yet most of us choose to disconnect ourselves even more from it. Realize how fucked up that is? How stupid. There's nothing wrong with these phones. Just watch the video of Sadhguru on this. There's nothing wrong with technology. It's an amazing tool. If you use it right, humanity can use it to prosper like exponentially, so much better than the past thousands of years, literally. And it is. We're growing scientifically, mentally, as well, because more and more people are finding help in these communities online. They learn from things online. But even then, it's still a choice to make it compulsive behavior or to choose it to use to help others. Like, I'm making these videos to help others. This is not I'm not addicted to making videos, I'm not making videos the whole time. I don't like hearing myself talk that much, okay? But I've been there, Insta scrolling, reels. I've never even had TikTok. I'm glad I never started. That's the worst app of them all, for sure. There's even an application called FikFok, which is TikTok with porn videos. Let's say that's the pinnacle of the 21st century right there. That's mwah. It's literally called FikFok. I'm sure you can't find it in the Play Store, but I've heard about it. And you just scroll and you have like 7 seconds videos of porn. That's, if you're one of those people, or if you're just the people who watches porn, like, I'm not gonna say be ashamed of yourself. You probably already are, but stop watching that shit. And you don't have to be ashamed of yourself. You have to be conscious of the fact that it's really bad for you. And it's already destroyed you, probably, actually. It definitely destroyed me for years, and it took years to get off of it. So the faster you start, the better. Or you know, I'm convinced that there's people out there who will just watch porn their whole life and they will die early. They will die so early and depressed, man. They will just they will walk like this, you know, they will have these really yellow eyes of constant masturbation and constant drainage of their energies. And women too, you know, this is fucked up. From a karmic or energetic point of view, it's fucked up too. Even videos, they look fake, but the energy of a person is in that video. Whenever I was watching porn, I felt so much darkness just from that side. Like, I didn't feel it directly because of the dopamine, right? At first it seems so nice, like, you know, it seems like heaven, you know, like the heaven of some Islamic guys, right? What is it, 42 virgins? What is that for bullshit? You know, someone created that ID because they couldn't have sex here, so just thought, maybe if I go to heaven I'll have a bunch of virgins. Well, I mean, what a pervert are you to think that that's what God would reward you with? Sex, the thing that has probably driven you to do stupid and crazy things in this life. Nah, if there is a heaven, there's no sex there. Sex only exists in the physical plane. And heaven is right here. Literally, it's a state of mind. If you're not happy here, why would you be happy when you die? Why would you all of a sudden be happy? You create your own reality. You have to realize this. There's no God who creates your reality. There might be a God who has created you, by all means, I believe there is, but we have free will. And that's what separates us from animals. And it's a beautiful thing that you can suffer. It's the most amazing thing because suffering means you have free will and you have the choice to be happy and you have the choice to follow God or whatever you want to follow and to know what the opposite of that was. And there's so much freedom in that. Animals, I don't know, I guess some of them are chill, some of them are stressed, they live in constant duality, like most human beings. But the moment you start walking away from that, the moment you just start to heal yourself, that's the real thing, because human beings are very balanced by nature. We're in connection with nature and in balance with her. But we've disconnected ourselves. You know, go walk bare feet, you know, just go walk bare feet, just enjoy walking on your feet. It feels like walking on your hands because there's a lot more receptors in your feet than in your hands, actually, which means obviously we've been created to walk on our feet. It's dope, man. Climb a fucking tree. It's so nice. We are apes after all. Kinda, not really, but we have some similarities. Climbing trees, being in nature, you know. Even this, it's fake, you know, it's my room. With fake nature, still better than, than no nature. But no, go out in nature, you know. And right there, you know, juggle there, or um, roll sideways from a hill, you know, do a cartwheel, do a roll over your head. I don't know what that's called in English. It's not hard. It's not hard at all. It's hard because you believe it's hard. And that's the only truth. It's hard because you believe it's hard. Do I still consider it to be hard to make videos? Not at all. I haven't made a video in a week because I was busy doing other things. But I have not been lazy. I haven't watched series. I barely watched YouTube. Like, I still catch myself watching something. Like when I look something up on YouTube or on Reddit, and then all of a sudden I'm on the home feed, and then I scroll, and then after 3 posts, I feel my energy drain, and I just be like, okay, well, we've had that again. And that's it. All it takes is 5 posts for your awareness, for your attention, and your dopamine to, for me at least, and I think for most people, you know, 5 fucking posts and your energy is drained, man. Your energy is fucked. You already feel like shit. 5 posts and you already feel like shit. Doesn't matter how interesting it is, how much you needed to hear that. What's the point of any of these posts if they destroy your mind and if they make you depressed? You know, even if all these posts seem to be uplifting. You know, there's beautiful thing. I like watching art on Instagram Reels. I like watching these videos. But again, we have a certain type of attention span which drops by the day. That's why we get tired. And in nature, or just without phones, that wasn't a problem. So again, it's about not the phone, it's about how you use it. I don't have Instagram anymore. I use Messenger to text some people. That's it. That's it. There's nothing else to do because life is supposed to be simple. We're human beings. We're supposed to be. We're consciousness. We're supposed to just be conscious. And it's stupid to think that this little box, what is it, 5 inch, 6 inch? It's mental and psychotic to think that that is your life and to think that somehow you will enjoy everything outside within this little constraint, smaller than my fucking face. It's ridiculous. Just throw it out, man. Just throw away your fucking phone for a while. If you're depressed and you need to write, because we all need writing, hobbies, self-expression. That's the thing people lack. They don't know who they are because they've never dared to explore. They've never dared to explore the boundaries of their being, of how far they can go in life, how far they can go in conversation, in discussions. They've always just said, oh, this is not for me. Oh, but I'm too tired. Oh, but yeah, you're sad because you make yourself sad. I was exactly the same. And now I laugh at it, because it's funny. It's funny how you just create this illusion of depression and suffering. There's no real depression. You're just bored. You're just fucking bored and afraid to explore life. That's the only truth. Depression does not exist if you go walk in nature every day. Depression does not exist if you exercise every day, if you take cold showers. And these are now I'm talking about discipline, right? This is discipline for most people. I'm also just talking about being creative, just having a good conversation with a stranger on the train or on the bus. Really, this barely happens in the West. When I go travel, which I haven't done that much yet, but I'm bound to travel more because whenever I do, people are so open in some countries. They just talk and talk and talk. It's wonderful. And here I'm in Belgium, and everyone is just like on their phone, and they all seem so depressed because they probably are. And whenever I talk to them, any of them, they seem so happy. Oh, someone's talking to me. Not all of them, but let's say 70 to 80% of the people I talk to really enjoy it. 70 to 80% of the people just lack social. They don't lack social contacts, they have friends and shit, but meeting a stranger is one of life's true delights. Like Uncle Iris said something like this. Meeting a true stranger is one of the most beautiful things in life. Because you already know your friends. They already know you. You already know the dynamic between you. You're just gonna make the same kind of jokes and the same kind of humor, and it's all funny because you match and you connect, and it's nice. It's nice. I love my friends. It's just there's something about meeting new people which is so much nicer than your friends because you can't relearn everything about your friends. Just like finding a new series is very enticing and exciting at first, but watching it again is boring because you already know what it is. I'm not promoting watching series, please don't. Throw away your laptop and your phone and go walk in nature. But just, people are afraid of this. And there's a reason for this too. They're always like this on their phone, right? Always like this. Like from a biological point of view, whenever you're afraid, you sit like this. This is what people do. I had PTSD. I was like this my whole life, literally. I sat like this my whole fucking life. Now the past 2 years I've grown out of it. But well, you don't grow out of PTSD. You have to put in a lot of work actually. I'm still healing from it, and it might still take my whole life, but the most is gone. Anyways, most people sit like this. Try to walk like this. I mean, literally, try to just, head straight. Be a bit macho, but don't be macho. But just imagine what, these cool people on television look like. Right? These cool people that you literally watch in series and movies. The way they walk. The way they seem so brave. You watch these movies because you like the way they walk. The moment you have an interesting life, you're not interested in watching someone else's life on a television screen anymore. Like, that's not interesting anymore. I recently watched Friends while I was very depressed, and I thought it was funny. And the next day, I felt so much better, and I watched Friends again. And I was like, this is so fucking boring. The same goes for The Office and all of these other comedy series. There's nothing fun about them. There's so much more happiness to be found in the world than watching a screen. Human beings are supposed to laugh big time, a lot of the time, but not continuously. These series are not good. When you constantly laugh, you just train your brain to laugh with a screen. You kind of forget to think for yourself. You kind of forget to. That was my expression. When you mindlessly stare at a screen, your mind becomes blank. That's the reason people watch it, because they can't deal with their thoughts. Your mind becomes blank and you just kind of stop thinking, but not in a meditative way, in a very unhealthy way, where all the negative thoughts will come up. Oh, maybe I should have more junk food. Maybe I should masturbate. Maybe I should, watch the next episode. These thoughts, they just overtake you completely because you're not aware of your mind anymore. You literally give it away. You give all your power away by watching a screen. Like, this goes much deeper than people imagine or think. But when you look at a movie, I've already said this in my past videos, but still, this is important. Whenever you look at a movie, you can feel adrenaline, you can feel love, you can feel hormones, whatever, just by watching a screen. The same goes for pornography, but you don't ever really feel it, you know? It's just, you feel a sense of what it would be like. Just enough to keep you hooked because you're a pussy and you're too afraid to go out in life and actually do these things. So you're just hooked enough to stay in this vicious circle, in this loop of suffering and depression, with this one percentage of like this little dopamine hit, which you have taken to be happiness, and you've just assumed that that's happiness because your friends do it and because you attract what you are. So on social media, you also look up people like this, so you think the whole world is like that. That's not true. The whole world is never like you. You're only like you. And then there's other people who might share similarities with you. And it's obvious that if you are like who you are and you don't change anything about yourself, you will attract people who like the same things, even online. So you have to stop that. You have to change yourself. You have to even drop out. Just drop your friends. Just fucking leave them. If you don't feel good with your friends, if you're doubting if you have good friends, you don't have good friends. Let me tell you this. If you doubt whether or not you should stay with your friends, you don't have good friends, you should leave them. When you have good friends, you know. Still, there's like always doubts. The mind is funny like that. The mind always plays games. Like, even with my best friends, sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't want to see them anymore. That's okay, that happens. But when for a long period of time you just not, you're like laughing and maybe you're having a drink and maybe you're enjoying yourself or you're playing video games together or you're going out for a walk, whatever, like, even if you're doing good things together, if you don't actually feel good with them, just fucking leave them. Be honest and open about this, or just drop them if you can't do that, and then just see what happens. This is what I did with some people. I just left my dad. I haven't spoken to him in 3 years, and I needed that. I could not have told him this. It would have killed me. I could have never been. I was a pussy. I was so afraid because of my trauma, and I could have never done that. So I just left him. And you can. And the mind is like, oh, but I'm gonna hurt him. I'm gonna hurt. No, no, you're just gonna hurt yourself if you stay with these friends for longer. They will forget about you in a week, less than a week, literally. Because clearly, if you don't see them as great friends, clearly they won't see you as great friends either. Like a real friendship, that is something very rare. And if it happens, it's like you're in love with that person, just without the sex and without the kissing and the stalking online. It's just, you just love that person unconditionally. Yeah, and that's dope, man. That's dope. I mean, real relationships too, they should be based on good friendships. You should be friends with your partner. You should really like each other's company. And that's the problem. Most people, they're together because they want to have sex. Literally, lust is a big enemy. And then, they find someone and they just stay together for the sex. That's what a lot of people do, and a lot of people, also love each other to some degree, but not really, because it's just a silly idea, honestly, to live together with someone for the rest of your life. Of course, fights are gonna come, and hard times will come. Of course, that's normal. That's what happens when you live together. The same happens with your best friends. If I live together with my friends for a while, we also get annoyed by each other. That's life. It's I'm gonna leave this. I'll make this into two videos somehow, because yay. I take care.